Ask them where their stand is on HR 2058. We're dead in the water if we can get politicians behind this. Something that was supposed to be a surprise. There's very, very few people that know I've been up to something behind the scenes. It's still behind the scenes, but for people that are here, please know that we are working on getting North Star 14 to run 1 billion lives for us. I'm trying.
It's a process. It's a big process.
The first 2 dates have already been turned down by them, so a third date has been submitted. We'll see how it goes. If this doesn't work, there are a couple of people that are good friends with owners of the theater over in Webb City. I will be getting a hold of Aaron and seeing if there's any chance that we can pull away from their marketing group and get it ran over there, because it's very important that we get people who don't know what's going on educated, because that too is going to help save us. Okay, has everyone in here heard of CASA?
Yep.
Is there anyone that has not? Good. How about the American Vaping Association?
Yep.
Been following Greg on his little tour going across the country in the bus.
That's awesome.
It's been entertaining.
Those videos are great for like non-vapors. They really are.
I'll shut my phone. Again.
How many of you are aware exactly what the FDA vaping regulations have proposed to happen with vaping?
I've been paying attention, but apparently not that much.
The FDA wants it to go away. They want it gone. Recently, I was reading, there was an article that implied they were going to try to play with some dates again and possibly roll this back over to the pharmaceutical end, which is what the court cases the first time around said no. I understand there's been a few shops that have been visited and their primary focus was looking for pre-filled cartomizers, which is something that the FDA could get behind. I've got a funny feeling there's not a single person here that uses a pre-filled cartomizer. I haven't for 3 years, so keep yourself educated, stay on top of events, pay attention to MOCA. They post a lot of what's coming up and what's going on.
We have completely smoked this place out.
If you know someone who's a smoker, try and teach them what vaping's really all about. Don't let them listen to the garbage that's spewed out there that's full of lies. That's getting worse. The ants are starting to get a little braver because they've got backing now. We just have to fight harder. Does anybody have any questions? Are you guys aware that there is a new group that's forming for the state of Missouri that's smoke-free, Missouri smoke-free? There will be a lot more breaking on that in the very near future. When that does, we'll probably be looking to try to get some donations worked up, to get billboards up, like I'm sure you've seen on social media. We've got access to that, but we have to pay for the billboard. So, have questions?
I've been following Tobacco 21, but is there any new news on that? Any new locations proposed?
Tobacco 21 went through in Kansas City. It went through in St. Louis. It has gone through in Columbia. They are now looking at seriously enforcing it in Columbia. I know they have been snooping around in the southern part of Missouri and Kansas, but nothing yet. make friends with your city council representative and let them know how you feel about vaping and what it's done for you. It's one reason we're really trying to get 1 billion lives into Joplin, so that we can get all of our local elected officials
Behind
into
it.
the theater and let them actually see the truth, so they'll know that when we say, I vape and I vote, we're serious.
Does 1 billion lives address tobacco 21?
No.
If that was pre-them?
The movie was done before that started getting here, and it was also done before the Royal College of Physicians report came out, which bad timing. But too bad, they can't go in and alter it, edit. Anybody has any questions, I'll be here.
If the FDA really did want to help people, wouldn't they be putting money into research behind long-term effects?
The FDA doesn't want to help people.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Wouldn't they be wanting to put research behind the long-term effects rather than just banning it altogether? If they really did want to help people.
They're doing some research. There was a research paper that was published a few days ago that was backed by the FDA, and it was funded by the FDA and the pharmaceutical industry. In case you haven't seen it, be prepared. It's going to tell you if there's sweeteners in your liquid. There's carcinogens when you heat it. People that vape know if you vape something that's exceptionally sweet, your coils are going to gunk up and die quicker.
Yeah.
Well, that's where the carcinogens come from, so that's what they're looking at. I'm not going to hold my breath for them to do honest health studies. The bulk of that, I believe, is probably going to come out of Great Britain and the UK.
As far as I know, Great Britain so far has been the leading researcher at this point.
Great Britain is the leading researcher on this. Great Britain is also telling their public health officials that they should pay for people to make the switch from cigarettes to vaping, because they realize that this is at least 95% safer than smoking. They didn't want to commit more than that 95% because they haven't been able to do like a 20-year long-term study on
long-term
it.
effects.
But those of us that smoked forever and made the switch, we know that there's a difference. So, any other questions?
Last week I watched a live Q&A. Can you hear me? Last week I watched a live Q&A with Mitch Zeller, where they asked him if he considered the Royal College of Physicians study. And he said, yeah, we were aware of that one study, which is kind of bullshit, because that one study was a global survey of 185 studies that had already been released, where they concluded, after looking at everything, that vapor products are 95% safer than combustible tobacco products. But they discount it completely, the Royal College of Physicians study, because people in the UK vape differently than they do in the United States. See, over in the UK, more people make a complete switch. But over in the United States, there's more dual users. At least 70%, he said, of people that vape are still dual users that also smoke cigarettes. Yeah, and I also think that's bullshit. And he didn't say where that information came from, but that still means that he's acknowledging that 30% of the people that try vapor products to quit smoking are successful, which is like the biggest boon ever compared to like 1% on Chantix.
You probably got that number from the pharmaceutical
Yeah,
industry.
the FDA really does not give a
John
shit.
was actually talking to me earlier about the effects of Chantix,
Yeah,
actually.
make it crazy. It's linked to like 2,000 suicides and 500 homicides, or does it go the other way?
Chantix is
Oh,
not.
yeah.
And look what happened to
Good
it.
I became incredibly suicidal. It cost me a marriage. I mean, it was the worst experience of my life. Was the month that was on Chantix. I did manage to quit for 2 years, but you know what the really funny thing is? I ordered a cigarette every damn day of that 2 years. Now with vaping, Thanksgiving marks 3 years. I haven't traded a cigarette in about 3 years.
Oh, and all those comments that we sent to the FDA, they're not considering anecdotal evidence as actual evidence of people quitting smoking. They won't accept anecdotal evidence.
So the FDA will not expect,
Let's be facts.
they won't accept testimonies from those who have actually quit and have actually experienced this product as a viable resource to quit smoking.
It disproves the reason for the regulation if they accept anything that we have to say.
Yeah, basically. Unless it's hard science they can't argue with, which nobody can afford. I mean, nobody can afford it. Nobody.
That's why all this money goes into advocacy groups and everything, so that we can actually fund money to get people behind us who know how to pull resources like this.
At this point, yeah, it's about funding and education. It's both ways, because there needs to be a lot more. That's why events like this, Ray and John do things like this with Mocha, is to give us, you guys, the awareness of what's going on. You know, maybe even drum up some money for advocacy on the side. It's kind of a win-win when something like this goes on. You know, Margot gets to step
He
up.
was at this CATA conference and heard a lot of stuff that we didn't.
Anybody get more questions for Margot?
Can we make those the smaller size?
Can we give her a hand of applause, please? Thank you, Margot.
Let me just mention
John
something.
Brummett, my partner in crime. Can I get
Let
you
me
up here
just
for a
mention
second?
something for you guys. Literally every person, if not every person in this room, is almost everybody in here, if not everyone, is a consumer of vapor products as a
John
substitute
Brummett.
to tobacco. That's all I have to say.